So I'm going to start doing something new. I'm going to start doing this whole Degen handbook type thing. And I'm also changing how I'm filming videos. So the way I'm going to be doing videos, I'm not going to sit down and plan videos for an hour or 2 hours for the most part, as far as scripting. Okay, so the content will still be good, but for the most part, I am now just 100% winging it. All right, there's no more script on the screen. So this is going to be raw. It's going to be me, and it's going to be fun. So we'll see how it goes. With that said, this video is going to be my new first episode for Degen handbook. Okay, so we're going to be talking about how to ape in like a Degen safely-ish. All right, I'm going to show you a couple ways that you can find out if you want to see if there's something that you can jump into, you know, maybe catch something before it pumps, make a quick flip, or maybe catch a really good project early on. All right, I'm going to make this as simple and straightforward and beneficial to you as possible. So let's just jump into it. All right, so you can do this literally with one tool and it's free. It's just nftgo.io. That's really all you need. You come over here, go to analytics, and then click on ranking. I'm also going to show you how to do this with a certain paid tool. But before we get to that paid tool that costs 0.15 Ethereum per month or 0.5 per 6 months. Okay, so it's not exactly cheap, but it makes what I'm going to show you really easy. All right, so for the free way, go to nftgo.io. You go to the analytics and then click on ranking. And then we want to open this up a little bit. So let's go ahead and say 40 rows. Okay, so what we're going to do is then move this over. We want to see the amount of sales that are happening with whales. Okay, so let's go to sales. All right, and I'm going to move it over one more. In fact, the easiest way would be to leave this as 10. Go to sales and then over one more so you can see whales and floor price. Okay, so that's what we're looking for. We're looking to see the floor price, how many sales, and if there's whales in there. All right, and then of course liquidity, and then the average price is good to see. All right, so now we're going to open it up to 40, and what this is going to show you, it's going to show you the projects that are getting the most sales within 24 hours. Okay, the most recent 24 hours. So now what you can do is you can see the Shine Sky portal. All right, they've got 6,328 sales in 24 hours. Frank, this is really annoying because I saw Frank when he was like 0.04, 0.05, literally like a day and a half ago. Then I was like, oh, that's kind of dumb. Nobody would buy that. Well, I should have bought like 10, right? Or 20. Anyways, you can see the amount of sales that are happening in the last 24 hours. So what we can do is we can see the ones that have a lot of volume or the most interest happening, as well as the cheapest floor prices. Okay, so what we're looking for is we're looking for things that are starting to get some sales coming in but have a low floor price. So you don't want to look at the ones that are the most popular. You want to go down the list. Okay, so we want to look at maybe like the 40th. Okay, these ones are going to be the ones that are just now starting to get some sales moving, and it's starting to pick up a little bit of interest. Maybe a couple whales they're talking, and they're in there sweeping, and so they're picking some up before they make tweets or before they do all the stuff, right? So you don't want to look at the top of the list, but you don't want to go clear back to the bottom of the list. You want to be within maybe the top 40 or 50. You could even go to the next page and see how things are on this page. Okay, so if we go down here, there's not a whole lot going on. There's maybe 100 sales. Nothing over here is going to be too crazy. I mean, the Metroverse Blackout, that's a cool project, but it's not like going to pump anytime soon. So I'm just going to go back to page 1. That's usually where the hotspot's at. So I'm going to come down here and work my way up. So I want to see what is something that's starting to pick up some more sales but not dropping and everything. Okay, so we want to look for like this. So 286, which is way more. So that's 2,000% increase. Okay, so somebody came in and just bought a bunch, and they're starting to buy more. There's a handful of whales that are buying in, and then we want to look at the floor price right here, and then average price. So this is actually picking up. So if we're gonna make a Degen move, right, let's go ahead and look at this. I'm gonna click into this, and we can figure out, is this something that I want to just Degen into? Okay, obviously right here you want to look at the website, and you also want to look at the Twitter. You can usually tell if something's a cash grab by looking at the website. Yeah, see, if something's like this, maybe not. I mean, trust your web security. If it's saying like, yo, don't go here, you know, maybe think about it. All right, we'll try it from a different angle. Yeah, so the actual website itself isn't wanting to work. I'm not sure why. That is kind of a red flag for me. Then what I would want to do is I would want to come over to the Twitter, and you want to look at who's following it. So as far as people to that will tell you, hey, is this something that could potentially pump, or is this on the radar to pump, is based off of who's following it. So there's a couple projects. I'll show you an example. If I go back here, let's go to like Kiwami. All right. So if I open up their Twitter, I'll pull up their list of people who follow them, right? Followers, you know. So like Fleur, King Fo, NFT Nate, shout out to all these guys, Bento Boy, yeah, Mike Rabble, Ryan D Crypto, Champ, all right, Meta Hulk, all right. So these guys that I'm pointing out to you, Crypto Gorilla, Tropo Farmer. So these guys, if you see any of these accounts following something, you might want to just click into their account and see if they tweeted about this project, which obviously Kiwami, a lot of them have all tweeted about. But if you see maybe one or two of these accounts following a project that you find on that list, but they didn't tweet about it, check the sweeps and see if they're like currently being swept up. Usually they'll be buying some stuff and they're gonna get some content ready and then tweet about it. All right, so you could potentially grab a 2, 3, 4, or sometimes a 5x flip off of these tweets. All right, with that said, I'm gonna say this right now, this is not financial advice. Do your own research, and this is very high risk. Okay, what I'm talking about right now, this is a high risk play. Okay, so back on this list, what you want to do is let's go ahead and find one. Okay, so one of these on here that I was looking at that seemed pretty good was, for example, Lost Samurais. So Samurais, you can click on here. We can go ahead and take a look at it. It seems to be doing decently well. The average price is 0.0795. Okay, max price is 0.5 ETH, so that's actually really good to see. You can click into the activity. You can see that there's decent sales happening within the last couple minutes. Then if we come over to holders, okay, so you want to check the holders. You want to make sure that there's not like majority of them are being held by a few people. Okay, so what you want to see is this right here is actually really good. So the majority of holders only have one. Okay, and then the good percentage only have 2 to 3, and then a smaller percentage has 10. Okay, more than that, they don't have a whole lot of holders that have an insane amount. Okay, so that's good. This is good right here. Okay, so they don't have a Twitter, but they do have a Discord. So I'm going to go ahead and jump into the Discord. Now, what I'm looking for on the Discord, I'll pull this over here really quick. So on the Discord, you want to see that there's more than, like a couple hundred, because if there's no exposure in the Discord, if there's not anybody there, it's going to be kind of hard for you to like make any money, or you're super early, which if you're that early, maybe they shouldn't have minted. All right. So as long as there's awareness and there's people there, the numbers are good, but just bear in mind, a lot of these could be fake, especially with these super cheap projects. But jump in and look at the chat. Okay, so let's go ahead and join in. Go ahead and verify. All right, so then I'm gonna try to find the general chat. Okay, so I sat here and watched the general chat for literally a minute or two, and one message, yo. So obviously there are not that many actual members in this Discord. So with that minimal engagement, what I like to see is I like to see it pop, and I like to see people in there hanging out. I like to see people like talking and hanging out, having a good time and being excited. Okay, so this right here, that's not exactly a great one. However, if you come over here and you click on the overview, you can see it does have a positive trend. The holders are holding strong. There is a slight recovery as far as the transactions and liquidity that is going back up. So potentially this could be something that you could buy and hold on to for a little bit and see if it pumps back up. But seeing as how it already really pumped up a bit already, I don't know if I would just jump in and get this right away. I would maybe watch it for a little bit. So your checklist, obviously, once you find a project on this that's getting some new sales, it's got a couple whales, it's got a decent floor price that you can buy into, it hasn't spiked super high, right? It hasn't already pumped really hard, something that you can get into. And then obviously I showed you how to check the Twitter, look for those accounts as well as any others that you follow that you trust or that do pumps, right? So if they make a tweet and it pumps, you'll want to follow them and you want to watch for their name when you're doing this method. Then let's say you found one that you want to get into. So say, for example, you want to get into this Okoku, right? So you can come over to the Twitter. You go, hey, you know what? Boom. They've got a decent following, followed by Fleur, NFT Nate, and 2 others that I know. So Ryan D Crypto and Nikki G. So he's one of the guys that's in charge of Bridge 3, and they do NFT promotions. Okay, so if he's following a project, there's a good chance that they are going to be getting awareness. So this project checks off on the Twitter. Yes, they've got good following. They've got the right people that are actually following them. If we come over here, I want to find one of their tweets 4 hours ago. They are getting decent engagement on their actual tweets. I'm going to go ahead and open up their Discord really quick. So over here, the actual Discord, I'll pull over here. They've got 6,000 members. Their mint price was 0.05, so I can get some basic information. And the general chat is actually popping really well. So once I find this project and I find a couple things that check off, their Twitter's good, they're being followed by the right people, they're getting some of the volume going. Next thing I want to do is I want to see, is this currently at a pump? Okay, is it currently like peaking out? So let's say, for example, it's like spiking, right? I'm going to go ahead and zoom in on this a little bit, right? Okay, so let's say you just find this and it's flying and it's just like skyrocketing, right? So the price is mooning. You might not want to buy at that point, okay? Because you can always end up buying high and then selling low, okay? We're going to try to avoid that. So what you want to do is you want to watch for the peaks, okay? So the peaks, what those do, they find a resistance, okay, where too many people are listing for a certain price to where the amount of listings going up are beating the amount of sales being made. So when more listings are going up at a price point versus the sales that are, or the people that are buying them, okay, when that happens, it creates resistance. And that's what causes the price to go down, is because the listings start getting cheaper and cheaper as they try to undercut because they're just trying to make a quick buck and cash out. Now these, when a graph starts going up, that is called a support, okay? So when a support happens, it's the opposite. It's when sales are beating the amount of listings, meaning less people are listing, more people are buying. So when you find a support at a good price point, so usually you could come down here, you can watch the graph. If it's spiking up really hard, I usually wait until I start seeing the sales beating the listings, which you can just watch by the graph. So you can see the sales picking up versus the listings going up. And then you'll see that it is starting to find a support. That is when I would buy in, and then I would wait to see where the next peak would be at. So the next time it goes up, I would watch for the resistance to start building up, and then you dump it on the floor as the resistance is starting to form. Like when you see that, you can just go ahead and do that. In doing this, you can get some decent claims, or some decent gains. But what I usually try to do is I try to find something that's a little bit more valuable, a little bit more long-term potential. All right. So how do you do this? Super easy with one website, one resource, and everything on one page. I use NFTnerds.ai. All right. So when you go to NFTnerds.ai, this is a paid service. You can still use it when it's free, slightly, right? It has some limitations, but I have the premium version. So the benefit of the premium version is I get immediate updates. Okay. So if somebody clicks something like put for sale, I can see it the second it goes up. Okay. So what I'm going to do is show you how this stuff works. Okay. So on trending, I can go to trending and click on 1 day, and I can automatically see what it's going to do is show you essentially the same graph we were just looking at on NFT Go.ai. So basically it's going to be very, very similar projects. Some of them will be slightly different, but this one is actually going to be more accurate as far as what's currently trending. Because of the way that their algorithm is set up, it's watching for all the right things to make sure that this is a solid trending project. Okay. So again, what I'm going to do is go into the 1 day, or you could click into like 4 hours or 15 minutes or even 1 minute. Like, hey, what's the hot thing right now? Right. So just based off of that, I can come over here and go 5 minutes, look through it really quick, see if there's anything that looks really interesting to me. And of course, I'm always paying attention to the price. Oozoids actually could be popping off here fairly soon just because of their newest announcement. Chum Chums. So let's say Chum Chums, right, is going to be one of those dumb ones that like just freaking takes off out of nowhere, right? So when you click on the project, you're going to get this screen. Okay. So this right here, you can see listed 30 seconds ago, 20 seconds. So 30 seconds, 30 seconds, 2 minutes, right? So these right here, I can actually see when they're listed, and I can just hit buy. And if I wanted to, I could literally click buy now, and that would actually pop up. See right here, hey, boom, do you want to buy it? And I could hit confirm, right? And I could preset all of my gas and everything so that if I wanted to buy, I could literally just snipe it straight off of this, see, within 10 seconds. All right, so what this is going to do is it's going to show you also what the sales have been. So if a bunch of people are like buying in and it's moving really quickly. As far as the graphs from NFT Go, okay, we're wanting to look at those graphs. So here's your graph. I mean, it's so new that it's just kind of like sporadic with it spiking up like that. Like it's showing me that, hey, you know what? Some of these got pre-revealed or it is reveal. So they're selling fairly quickly. If you want to get more information on the project, right? Obviously, we want to check out like their Twitter and stuff before I just jump in, okay? Remember, we're trying to do this safely, all right? So right here, we can see the amount of items. So there's 5,700, which you could also see right here. Supply, 5,692. That checks out. Owners, cool. So the holders, 2,300, 2,300. All right, floor price, cool. Trade volume, all right? We can also click on the activity and you can see the history here and you can see the insane volume taken off. So this is something that you might want to jump into. Based off of what we just looked at super quick, I'm already going, hey, you know what? This is something that I might buy because there could be some potential behind it. Again, we need to check the Twitter, okay? Boom. So there's 20,000 followers on it. When they post something, I want to find one of their original posts, not a retweet. Okay, so they've got 20,000 followers, but their posts, when they make a post, they don't get like a stupid amount of engagement. They get some engagement. I wouldn't base their authenticity and like their quality or potential based off of their engagement, that's for sure. But I can go ahead and click on who's followed that I know. So Voldemort and Aped Degen. So those guys, I just know them from my own Twitter, but they're not big influencers that can make one tweet and shift an entire market, okay? Of course, they got a website, so I want to look at the website. I want to look at the quality of the website. You can scroll through here. You can check it out. If it looks cheap and trashy, it probably is a slopped together project, and that's not something I would just jump into, okay? And then obviously we want to check out the Discord. It says that there are... Here, I'll pull this over here. So let's go ahead and check out the Discord. It says that the Discord has 3,700 members, which is actually more realistic for a very small project like this that has minted out, that is moving forward. So I'm going to go ahead and jump in here, complete this, accept that, read this. Cool. Boom, verification. Holy cow. Sweet. Okay, so the fact that they made me jump through a bunch of hoops to get in, I actually liked that because that's them putting an effort to prevent bots from getting in, which is good. And then there are people that are chatting. I like to jump in and see, yep, right there, several people are typing. That's a good sign. When you see several people hanging out, chatting, people talking, especially team members, if they're in there chatting as well, like that's a good sign. So this is actually what we just did. We checked their Twitter, we checked the data. Now what I want to do is I want to go back and look at the graphs. Since they are currently revealing, we could be sitting here and watching for the rank. So see right here how there's a number 2. That is saying that there are people that are, there's 2 people trying to buy that NFT right now. Okay, so with the floor being the way it is, as these reveal, people are going to be sitting here sniping them and flipping them. So this is something that I'll actually probably sit here and play around with as well. But now you know how you can ape in and degen safely with a couple easy tools. There's this one, the NFTnerds.ai paid tool, and then the NFT Go, which you have to move around a little bit. You have to click around on some different graphs, but you get pretty much the same data. You can see live sales. You can see all the stuff. You just can't snipe with NFT Go. Whereas this one, I can sit here and watch for a good rank, a good buy price. I'll just hit buy and I snipe to the one that I want, and I can flip it when this starts picking back up. And then one last thing that I want to show you guys, how you can see resistances and supports coming up. You come down to this little thing. So let's say a 0.05 threshold, meaning every price at every 0.05. So the current price is 0.04. To double, right, it would need to be basically 0.1. Okay, so let's find it on the graph, which would be right here, 0.1. You can see the supports and the resistance. Okay, so this is a resistance that's coming down, and there's this is a support, meaning people are starting to buy more than there are listings. Okay, so the 300, that's 300 listed and 400 listed. So if it's going down, that means that the sales are beating the listings. Okay, so that's good. That's a support. But when there are more listings going up than their sales being made, this graph will start going back up, and that is showing you resistance. Okay, So right now there's strong resistance, and it's finding a support at 0.04. They're starting to be bought. And then if you see this icon, it means they are being swept up. So with it being swept, you're going to start seeing this, the support. It's going to start going back down, and you'll probably see the price climbing back up. Now, if I want to check all the way up to 0.25, I can do that, and I can see how it flattens out a little bit. But in general terms, it is going down, which means the resistance is lowering. Okay, so this could potentially be a 0.25 buy. I'm not saying it is. There's a very small chance, but the fact that these are at 0.04 and we get to 10 minutes here pretty quickly, right? So we run out of the 0.04 fairly quickly, and these are being bought up by the second. Okay, and then here's 3 minutes. That's how many have been bought within 3 minutes. 3 minutes listed to go is about here. Okay, so what did I tell you about the sales versus the listings? This is getting ready to pump, honestly. So I'm gonna go ahead and I could actually grab one. I'll wait for a decent listing if I can, but then I'll definitely grab one and see if I can't flip it. So that's how you ape in like a degen safely-ish, right? Always do your own research. This is not financial advice, but make sure you drop a like for this video and subscribe if you found this beneficial, and I'll see you in the next video.